Blackout poetry is a great activity to build confidence and tap into creative abilities. It is one of my favorite artistic activities to do. Let's try it out and maybe you will find some hidden talents yourself. Blackout poetry is different from other forms of poetry because you don't start with creating original material. If you don't consider yourself to be a creative person, it can be really intimidating to start creating when you can't imagine yourself as an artist. Well, if you create art, then you are an artist. It's really that simple. And we are hoping that through Blackout poetry, you can start to see yourself in a new creative way. Blackout poetry is more like sculpting because you start with a page torn out of a book and you begin shaping the words on the page. Instead of marble, the material that is chiseled away are the words of a novel. There is a poem hidden on that page, and this is where the magic happens. Originality is expressed in what words the person decides to keep and which ones get crossed out. Here are a couple examples of Blackout poetry. This one reads, "Those eyes saw together, and they kept the secret between them." Here's another one from one of our students. Its title is Her History. It reads, "From her tangled wonderland, shimmering, listening, rewriting." I just love the rhythm and mystery in these poems. Okay, so now that you have an idea of what Blackout poetry is, let's try it for ourselves. There are only a few steps to the process, so let's get started. Step 1, gather materials. Blackout poetry is a great activity for all ages because it doesn't require a bunch of specialized materials. To get started, all you really need is a few markers or colored pencils, maybe crayons, a pencil, and a discarded book. I think novels with lots of descriptive words work the best. Teen novels are really fun to use and they usually come in larger fonts, so it makes it easier to strike through the words without drifting over into other lines. Step 2, prep materials. After you gather all your materials, you start by tearing some pages out of a book. This will feel really weird. It's not natural to rip pages from a book. Look for full pages of text and avoid pages with pictures. Pages with lots of adjectives and verbs work best. If you choose pages with lots of positive words, you'll likely end up with a positive poem, and vice versa with negative words. Step 3, choose your words. After you have selected your page, it is time to choose the words that will create your poem. You can choose as many words or phrases as you would like, but remember, the goal is to cross out the majority of the words, and what is left is what makes the poem. You can even select just one letter or a part of a typed word. For example, if the page says dogs, you might strike out the letter S to make dog. Maybe that's what you need for your poem. While you can omit any words and letters from the page that you would like, you cannot add words or letters to the page for your poem. As you are choosing words to keep, it is really helpful to use a pencil to lightly draw a box around the words that will stay. Besides helping you to remember which words not to strike through, this will also let you see how all of the words look together on the page. Step 4, outline the words. Now, using a marker, colored pencil, or crayon, outline the words you want to keep in your poem. This part is a little tedious. If you accidentally cross out a word that you need, you will have to rework the poem with what is left on your page. Make sure to give yourself plenty of margin and take your time. If you are using a marker, be especially careful because it will bleed into the page. If you're not careful, the words that you are trying to emphasize might get a little blacked out too. Step 5, black out the page. After all the words of the poem have a good outline around them, it is time to black out the rest of the page. You can use the same color pencil, marker, or crayon, or you can use a different color. It is really up to you. I like to try to make the color or even the way I mark the page match the mood of the poem. So if I have a poem about being excited, maybe I would use a yellow marker to make quick, short strokes to show that energy. Or if I have a poem about a lazy afternoon, maybe I would use a blue crayon to make slow, curvy strokes to show the feeling of being relaxed. Step 6. Enjoy and share. That's all there is to Blackout poetry. Now, it's just time to enjoy what you have created, share it with others, and remember, Blackout poetry is always a quick, easy activity to flex that creative muscle.